Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. We've got a big day today, just being Tuesday. Got a good start on my sermon for tonight. I was studying last night. Got some good stuff for today. Let's see here. Get over here where we can find us on live. There we are. Good deal. Okay, good morning, Jared. We are, need to holler at you today. Oh, but are you kidding me? Well, that just took what I had written and this remarkable is remarkable. I mean, that's what it's called in this tablet. It's not backlit. It's like writing on paper. And you can convert, you hand write with it, or you can type now. They come out with a keyboard for it as well. And I really love this thing, and you can save all your different notebooks in there. So I've got one for sermons, one for this deal, one for my day planner, one for, and you just create them. And it's an amazing tool when you're in it, and it's not hooked up to electronics like my laptop or an iPad where I'm getting notifications and distractions and everything. But what I love about it is I like writing things out by hand anyway. I used to have multiple notebooks. I've got notebooks from just writing things down, and that it's a neat thing. But it converts your handwritten stuff over into text, and usually does a pretty good job, which is pretty amazing because my handwriting's not terrible if I slow down and but I can write pretty messy when I'm in a hurry and just scribbling things out. Plus I write cursive and regular whatever you call that, non-cursive mixed, and probably like a lot of us do that are from old school that used to use cursive. But anyway, I think we've given enough time. Morning, Scott Keller. Morning, Rhonda. Morning, Mom. It's early, so we don't have as many on live yet. They'll be coming on, and more will come on after we get along here. So I'm just going to roll on because I need to get over to men's Bible study. But let's go to Psalms 37. As I was studying last night, I was actually breaking this new Bible in, and I was transferring some notes from my other Bible and some of the things, and I went through Psalms 37. It's one of the great ones. In the whole there's so many different things to teach from or bring out and just grab hold of when you get into Psalms 37. So Psalms 37 verse 1 says, "Don't worry about the wicked or envy those who do wrong." The thing that struck me, this was long before social media. There was no ability to have access to, hundreds or even thousands of people you don't even know. There's all kinds of things that we face today that they never would have faced back then. But he says, don't worry about what other people do. Don't worry about where other people, what's happening in their lives. And I think sometimes we can get caught up in comparison. The devil loves to bring out our inadequacies or our failures or make us feel less than. That's one of the ways that, he keeps us from, walking in the joy of the Lord and enjoying life. And, I don't know where it came from. I mean, this was back when Sue and I were first married in the early middle '80s, when we just decided that we weren't going to chase what the Joneses had. We were just going to be content with what God gave us, and yet be, strategize to have more, to do more, to be more, but not play that game. And it's helped us, I think, when we get into the social media age, where you can always see everybody's highlight reel. You're always able to see what other people are doing, and I think it traps a lot of people. It causes, and it always has. It's probably heightened now that there's the social media, but there's always been that idea that, well, they've got better. They're better than me. They're more than me. They've got things I want. Now, there's nothing wrong with seeing somebody else that's successful and saying, I want to be like that. I want to achieve those things, as long as it's not a thing where there begins to be an issue. And so he says, don't worry about the wicked or envy those who are doing wrong. Now, he's specifically talking about the wicked, and he's contrasting in this chapter the difference between those who live for God and follow God and trust God. And that's really what this is about, is trusting God with your life, but not worrying about what others do, not letting them influence you, is all the way through this as well. Verse 2, it says, for like grass, they soon fade away, talking about the wicked. Like spring flowers, they soon wither. He says, trust in the Lord and do good, then you'll live safely in the land and prosper. Now, this is when it gets into those three verses that I've stood on. There's another one as well, but verse 23. But this 3, 4, and 5 are ones, they're foundational for our lives. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because we talk about these a lot. I refer to these very often, but if you've never heard these, verse 3, trust in the Lord and do good, then you'll live safely in the land. So first of all, put your trust in Him. He says, take delight in the Lord, and He'll give you your heart's desire. Now, delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your hearts, how the King James reads it. He says, wrote it, how it's translated. Let me get that right. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you your heart's desire. I like the way that reads, because you understand that He's going to give you what you desire, but He's going to give you the thing you should desire first. And that's what trusting in the Lord does. It says, God, here's my heart. I want my desires and your desires to begin to be the same. Now, in the beginning, that may be a little bit of a struggle because you're still tussling with God over lordship of your life. I mean, you may have given your heart to God in the sense of salvation and eternal security, and you've said, Jesus, I want you to be my Lord, so I don't have to worry about hell and dying and going to hell. I want to live with you forever. I want that. But in my everyday life, if you're still struggling with trusting in the Lord in your everyday life, and you're still trying to rule your everyday, this is part of becomes your prayer. You say, Lord, today I want to give my life to you, and I want my desires and your desires to be aligned. And that's what the Lord's Prayer is all about. It establishes, our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. It establishes God as supreme being of the universe, but also of my heart, because He says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. When we start our day like that, and then throughout our day, when we try to grab the reins and control and direct our life, we say, okay, God, I continually want you involved in my life. Now, you have to take charge of your life and go to work and do your job and all those things. But notice he says he says He'll give you your heart's desire. So He'll begin to direct your heart. And so the things that are wicked and worldly and evil and the things of our flesh nature, begin to fall away. We quit being the one who's greedy. We quit being the one who's jealous. We quit being the one who holds bitterness and unforgiveness. So there begins to be a transformation and a change. In verse 5, it says, commit everything you do to the Lord. Trust in Him. There it is again. Trust in Him, and He'll help you. He'll bring it to pass, the King James says. You trust in Him, or you commit your ways to Him. Now, in the King James, it only uses, it says commit, and here as well, but it says commit everything. In the King James, it says commit your way to the Lord, meaning all of them. I like that. It doesn't say ways, not individual ways. Don't give Him this way and not this way. Give Him all your ways. Give Him everything, and He'll direct your path. Trust in Him, and He'll bring it. He'll bring it along, bring it to pass. He'll help you, man. I want God's help. When I go into a store, especially these big department stores, I'm not going to wander around for 40, well, sometimes I do. I'll be honest. Sometimes I wander around looking for something and not willing to ask. But generally speaking, especially if I'm in a hurry, which is most of the time, I'm headed in there, and if I bump into somebody and I don't know where something's at, and I bump into somebody that works there, and I'll say, hey, where's your stuff? I was in getting paint we set some new corner posts out here, pipe corners on our fence that outlines our property here as you drive in. They've been old wood posts for a long time, ever since we've been here, and I've been going to change them for years, and they finally were getting to the point about falling down. I said, okay, Sue, we got to change this. Well, anyway, I was getting paint yesterday, or day before yesterday. I was in there at Lowe's, and I wandered around for a minute in the paint section, and then I went to the gal that worked there. It was up there by where they mixed the paint. I said, hey, here's what I need. She brought it. That's where I want God to be in my life. I want His help. I want Him to guide me through as many of and help me navigate as many of the problem areas of life. Show me, Lord. Lead me, Lord. Now, you've got to be about your job and about your doing. But when you've submitted your heart, you'll begin to realize after you look back to say, wow, I really came through that well. I really made good choices. That was good. You begin to give God the credit for that. Thank you, Lord. Begin to set your heart to praise Him for what He's done and say, Lord, thank you for bringing me through that. Thank you, Lord. Here's the thing. Sometimes God uses people. Sometimes He uses us. Sometimes He uses situations. But we see throughout this chapter, if you read this chapter, you see where trusting in the Lord, following His ways and His plans brings a good result. And if you develop that recognition of God and say, God, thank you for it. Every time you succeed, I walked in there, got the things I needed, whatever. You come through something. You ought to begin to just give Him thanks for all. Recognize that He's at work in your life, and that's what begins to happen. And all of a sudden, when people say, "Man, aren't you good?" and I'll say, "Well, thank you. I'm blessed. The Lord's good to me." Or you don't have to go into a big old sermon, but sometimes it might help. I was trusting the Lord. I was praying about that, and I felt this. I felt like I should do it this way, or I'm really trying, or whatever. Just being humble, but also, man, main thing in your heart of hearts, know that it's God that's at work in you. Look at, he goes, verse 6, he says, He'll make your innocence radiate like the dawn, and the justice of your cause will shine like noonday. Now, this is a key in verse 7. Be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for Him to act. Now, this is also something that's key in this chapter, is he's teaching to sit back and do nothing? No. He's teaching to wait on God with anticipation. He says to be still in the presence of God. So we need a time that we just kick back, and not kick back in a sense of relaxing, but stepping back or stepping into and being still, being that's what I'm trying to communicate is we need to disengage everything. Every once in a while, and I don't know about you, but I was raised by a dad that was a driven, forceful. I mean, go get it. Hit the ground running. You didn't take breaks. I just didn't. We just didn't. And several of the guys I've worked for, most every guy I've worked for since then, when I was on ranches working for them, or and I'm just kind of that away. But I've learned to, of course, part of it's age. I think you learn when you get a little bit older that taking a break once in a while kind of helps. But I'm not real good at pausing, taking a break. I have to be intentional about that. I think we have to be intentional when we come into the presence of God to unhitch from whatever it is, or take that break, stand at peace, be calm for just a little bit of time, take a breath, disengage for just a minute, so that you can allow things, God to, in His presence, to speak. He says, be still in the presence of God and wait patiently for Him to act. Now, here's another part of this verse that's pretty cool. He says, don't worry about evil people who prosper and fret about their wicked schemes. I wrote out beside this, don't be distracted by others' lives. Don't compare yourself. I think that's an important thing. Is sometimes we feel like somebody else is moving faster, they're achieving more, they're succeeding, and a lot of times we see others' success, and we see things at the end. We see after they've spent 25 or 30 years, or maybe they've spent 5 years or 10 years, but they've spent the time. And the time's not so important as just understanding there was a lot of preparation that went into that success. You may just see it now at the end, but you didn't see all the things that were building to it. And I think that's the value of having some age on you, and learning. Some of you who are probably pushing 40 or well past 40, you have some time where you can look back and you can see, Rome wasn't built in a day, is an old saying. It's true here where we're thinking about this. So is our life and our walk with God. You may get frustrated with the fact that you're still growing, or you're still not yet there. But if we learn to enjoy the trip and to enjoy the journey, and that's part of what that being still in the presence of the Lord and waiting patiently for Him to act. Learning how to do that is such a blessing, because you don't get wrapped up in you disengage for a minute, where you're not under that tension and that pressure and that trying so hard to just sitting in God's presence, because it allows you to have your perspective changed, and you really realize, okay, it may be a small improvement, or things may have slipped back, but you're able to recognize there's times when things slip back, there's times when things are maybe just on a level plane, and then growth comes. Something that I've seen in my life is there's a lot of times where there's a growth, and then it seems like there's a plateau, maybe with guitar playing, or maybe with roping, maybe with I've seen this in hobbies or things that I do. I've seen it in in different things that I'm trying to develop in the church or whatever. There's times where things just kind of level out, and it feels like they're backing up. It feels like they're going down, because you've been on this growth. Well, there's going to be times where we plateau, it seems like, but that doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean it's the end. There'll be another point, and a lot of times things just go up, just go really awesome. It seems like nothing's happening. It seems like nothing's working, but you remain faithful, and then all of a sudden things just take off. And I don't know. Part of the value of that may be that we realize and we recognize God's at work. we pause in that time and we reflect and we remember and we value all the struggle to get where you are, and then you develop maybe in that plateau the hunger again to go on and to push forward. Or maybe in that plateau time, you're allowing God to refuel you for the rest of the journey or the vision ahead. I don't know. I hadn't thought about that a whole lot till just now, but I've seen that in my life, and how that fits in this message is keeping our eyes on God in that time and not being distracted by others. Man, I need to write that down. That plateau thing, that's good. But that's the amazing thing is we in that time we're getting refueled, we're getting prepared, we're getting ready, and then because God's fixing to do something. Notice that country fixing. He's fixing to do something really good. I love that. Now, verse 8, and we're going to wrap it up with this because I got to get going. I don't know how long I've gone, but verse 8 says, stop being angry, turn loose of your rage, don't lose your temper. It only leads to harm. Man, that one right there was a time in my life when I needed that one in big bold letters right there in front of me all the time. I needed it hanging down off the front of my hat. Say, don't be angry, don't get mad, don't lose your temper, because it just leads to harm. But there's 3 things in that verse 8, and he says, stop being angry. He says, turn from your rage. In other words, turn that loose, but turn from it, turn away from it. And then he says, don't lose your temper. In other words, hold fast, keep your temper in check. All right. And man, I tell you what, I can smile a little bit about that. But there was times whenever that was not good. Verse 9 says this: for the wicked will be destroyed, but those who trust in the Lord will possess the land. I just wrote out beside my Bible right there, stay steady. Just stay steady. Just hold fast to what we've talked about. Man, I tell you what, one more verse and we'll wrap this up, or two. The wicked plot against the godly. They snarl at them in defiance, but the Lord just laughs. Here's the thing. When it looks like things are not working, or the devil's raging in your mind trying to say, or people are plotting against you, things don't look good. God says he just laughs, for he sees that their day of judgment is coming. Man, we may come back here tomorrow and finish up some more of this, but man, what an awesome just study from God's word. How valuable Psalms 37 is. How good those first 9, 12, 13 verses are. And listen, my message tonight is the power of praise. Sometimes we just got to laugh. Sometimes we just got to realize we are tapped into God, and the God of this universe loves me, is working for me, and his word is at work for me, and that's you too. If you've made Jesus Lord, you are a child of God. And he just, in very clear terms, said, trust in the Lord and these good things are going to happen. Trust in the Lord and you're going to overcome. There may be a time of challenge and difficulty, but it's building towards something else. And it's protecting, guiding, directing, and providing for you in all those ways. So man, I tell you what, go out today with an expectancy. Go out today and just put a smile on your face and just laugh at the devil's lies, laugh at the wicked, maybe not to their face, but just laugh about the fact that things are a struggle sometimes, because not because they're not important, but because God is at work for you, not against you. Well, listen, go be blessed and go get them for Jesus. Love y'all. Good morning, Ryan Owens. Morning, Jeff Washburn. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Sean King, Delaney. Good to see you. Got 3 Seans on there. Bill, good morning. Diane, good morning. Mara, good morning. Rhonda, hadn't seen you on here live for a while. Good to see you. Maybe this is a better time at 6. you have to watch at a different time. Well, y'all have a blessed day. Tonight's Tuesday night, Cowboy Church night. Jim Garling's going to be singing. That'll be good. He's always a lot of fun, and I gotta start on a great message. If you're standing around doing nothing today, and you wanna help me paint these posts out here, I'm just joking. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day.